Oh, hello there. We didn't see you.
Welcome to drama
With Llamas.
in Pajamas.
We are the Drama Llamas. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Athanasia, and we are classical actors who have been making art together since Uber was an adjective.
We are here with you today to help bring you into the world of classical theater. We hope to teach you how to understand mostly Shakespeare, but also other classical playwrights and genres.
Remember, no one wrote a play hoping it would bore you, so we hope to help you not only understand, but to enjoy this work as well.
So, get comfy in your pajamas.
Grab your llamas,
And let's do some drama! Come, bid me do anything for thee.
kill Claudio.
Ha! Not for the wide world.
You kill me to deny it, farewell.
Terry, sweet Beatrice.
I am gone, though I am here. There is no love in you. Nay, I pray you let me go.
We'll be friends first.
You dare easier be friends with me than fight with mine enemy.
Is Claudio thine enemy?
Is he not approved in the height of villain, that hath slandered, scorned, dishonored my kinswoman? Oh, that I were a man! What, bear her in hand until they come to take hands, and then, with public accusation, uncovered slander, unmitigated rancor, oh God, that I were a man! I would eat his heart in the marketplace.
Hear me, Beatrice.
Talk with a man out at a window. Surely a princely testimony, a goodly count confect, a sweet gallant surely. Oh, that I were a man for his sake, or that I had any friend would be a man for my sake. But manhood is melted into curtsies, valor into compliment, and men are only turned into tongue, and trim ones too. He is now as valiant as Hercules, that only tells a lie and swears it. I cannot be a man with wishing. Therefore I will die a woman with grieving.
Terry, good Beatrice, by this hand I love thee.
Use it for my love. Some other way than swearing by it.
Think in your soul the Count Claudio hath wronged Hero.
Yea, as sure as I have a thought or a soul.
Enough. I'm engaged. I will challenge him. Why did you want to share the character of Beatrice with us today?
This character is emblematic of some of the things that are wonderful about Shakespeare. She really leans hard into the power of language. And up until the moment y'all just saw, which was the beginning of Act 4, so most of the play. And in fact, Act 4, Scene 1 is a long scene, and that's the tail end of the scene. She always knows the right thing to say. Always. And, she's universally acknowledged as clever. Some people love this about her. Some people speak about it with chagrin. She deals with any issue that comes up by throwing words at the problem. And this is, I feel like I'm not the only one who wishes to embody that quality of just always instantly having the right thing to say at the right time pop into your head. And this is one of the reasons why, as I said, we just love Shakespeare. And as a female character, this is how she shows her bravado. You know, we talked about Mercutio and his sword, or his sword. She's she's got a pen which is mightier than the sword, and that's how she has her bravado. But she's got her walls up for sure. And we've talked about the patriarchy in Elizabethan England, and with the laws regarding women and marriage, you know, she's a noblewoman of the period, but if she gets married, she loses all of her rights. I mean, not like she had a lot anyway, but she becomes specifically someone's property, and she doesn't want that. She's frankly scared of that, and she rejects the idea of marriage throughout the play. She's been tricked into falling in love with Benedict by other characters who think that she should conform to these social norms of everybody gets married. My, you know, hashtag hot take on Much Ado About Nothing is that you can't trick Beatrice and Benedict into doing anything. They were in love with each other all along, and they just kind of needed permission to be vulnerable and admit that to each other. And this is the scene where they show that vulnerability. Immediately before what we showed you, Benedict has said, you know, I do love nothing in the world so well as you. Is not that strange? And she says, it were as possible for me to say I love nothing so well as you. And they kind of stumble over it, but like, yay! we're in love! Woohoo! And then he says, come, bid me do anything for thee! And then the excrement hits the ventilation system. But Act 4, Scene 1 is basically kind of the end of her rope with that power of language, even though she's been a wonderful role model to the spectator up to this point of her ability to kind of get herself out of difficult situations with words, you know, keep herself safe, frankly, as a woman, and speak her mind. Her cousin Hero has just been branded, you know, a cheater and an unchaste woman at the altar at her own wedding, unfairly. And Beatrice has tried to defend her, and it doesn't work.
Which kind of leads into the next question of what is it that made her realize she was vulnerable?
Right, yes. So it doesn't work. This is the very first time. And so as if being in love doesn't make you vulnerable enough, which we all know that it does. Mm-hmm. Literally anybody who's ever experienced that from, you know, 5 to 99 knows that the feelings alone create vulnerability. For the first time in her life, she has not been able to solve a problem by talking her way out of it. Claudio still left Hero. The whole town still thinks Hero slept with some random guy. And she can't provide an alibi for her. She wasn't with her last night. What's she gonna do?
Right.
And for the first time in her life, we keep harping on the time period, but in this milieu that she's in, for the first time in her life, she needs a man. And we keep saying, you know, we don't condone violence, you know, save the drama for thy non-violence towards your llama.
Keep the drama on the stage.
Keep the violence on the stage.
Stage violence, not real violence.
Yep. But in the time period, you know, a breach of honor was rectified through violence. You know, and as a law student, you know, today, a breach of honor is rectified through litigation, right? Which is a duel, but with words this time, and evidence and such. And, if it were modern times, Beatrice could just lawyer up and be like, hey, you can't, can you really prove that Hero did all this stuff? Like, no, you haven't carried your burden of proof, bye-bye. But, not then.
Yep.
She needs to take violent revenge, and you hear this with her language that she uses with Benedict. She uses K sounds and T sounds, and like she's got this pent up violence, but she's not able to defend her or her cousin's honor. She's not able to execute on that. She needs somebody else.
She needs a man.
She needs a man. Like, ooh, no, this is her worst nightmare.
Yeah. So you mentioned the thing about, she's not a lawyer, so that kind of leads into our next question of how do you relate to this character in this particular scene and situation in your life?
Well, there's a couple ways, and the first, obviously, I alluded to with law school, which is, I'm a litigator. Like, I'm not licensed yet. I work under supervision, but I do prepare for court appearances, and I will appear in court on behalf of clients, before I graduate under limited license.
Yeah. Hashtag disclaimer.
Hashtag disclaimer. Hashtag not legal advice. But, not to go too far off the subject or give too much away, my clients are very, very vulnerable. They're strong people mentally and emotionally, but they've been put in very, very vulnerable positions. And they need somebody to speak for them, which is what the whole concept of representation means, right? And so I'm blessed to live in 2025, where not only are we a much less violent society, and we have a mechanism where we get to duel it out with words and not swords, but as someone in a female body, I get to do that myself. I don't need a man to do that. I mean, obviously, there's interdependence. We all need each other in some way. Yes. But I don't need a man to fight my battles for me. I can go to court and do it myself. And so I empathize so much with this character who does not have that option that I'm blessed with. On the other hand, we're at a time in our democracy when respect for the courts are at an all-time low. Mm-hmm. And so there's a part of me that doesn't want to be scared, doesn't want to live in fear, but is a little bit apprehensive about, is there going to be an Act 4 Scene 1 moment where my words mean nothing and can't defend someone? And it is, is there going to be a time when I need someone with what's called hard power, right?
Right.
Like military style power to back me up in order to. I don't want that day to come.
A lot of us don't.
Yeah. Long before I was in law school, I had to grow to understand limitations in a different way. I've made no secret of the fact that I live with disabilities. I have chronic illness, and there's stuff I can't do. Writ large, just can't, And that's not a low self-esteem thing. That's not a, putting limitations on yourself thing. That's just a reality thing. Yeah. There's a lot that I can do, but it's not the same as other people. And I had to learn how to ask for help. And I had to learn how to ask for help in embarrassing situations and how to ask for help with things that most people don't need help with. Mm-hmm. And from people whom I might not know very well, whom I might not want to be vulnerable around. And it's a journey. I'm not always good at it. Sometimes I'd rather be like, nope, I'm going to handle it myself, even though that often means it doesn't get handled because, like, the angst of sharing the limitation is too much. But it also is an advantage that a lesson that I would carry forth with me if I were to be, miraculously cured with some advancement of modern medicine, is that, no man is an island.
Or woman.
Right, like that's a quote from something.
Yes,
I know,
yeah.
But and it's kind of not a flex to just pretend that you can do everything by yourself. It's a much bigger flex to be able to be honest and authentic with people, and most people are good people and like to help and appreciate being asked and having that opportunity. It makes them feel warm and fuzzy inside, and very few people are gonna have a negative reaction. And ultimately in this scene, it's a pretty big ask she makes. Claudio is Benedict's best friend.
Yeah.
They were in the military together. They were, brothers in arms. They fought a war together. But ultimately he sees her point of view in the time period.
Yes.
In modern days, it would just be like, go talk to him and verbally smack him down and say, not cool, bro. But back in the day, you had to use a sword for that. And he
as we
does,
covered in our Mercutio episode.
Yes, as we go back and watch it.
Yeah, go back and watch it.
And so he does end up, like, they do end up learning how to be beautifully interdependent throughout the last 2 acts of the play.
Well, thank you, Athanasia, for letting us take a peek into the vulnerability of Beatrice. And we here at the Drama Llamas have a very special announcement. I am currently, clearly, pregnant with a little Shakespeare-loving llama of my own.
Yay!
Yay!
Congratulations to Ashley and
you.
her growing family.
Yes, thank you. And make sure you join us next time as we celebrate Pride Month with some of Shakespeare's most fabulous LGBTQ characters. Make sure to mark it in your planner.
Because if it's not in your planner, it doesn't exist. And please remember, if you like our vibe,
there is that button that is called subscribe.